Resident of Collinwood, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I watched Raw earlier today. Today's date is October 20th, 2020. Raw was aired yesterday on October 19th, 2020. I told you Hulu only gives you the highlights of it. I like what I saw. I believe the show opened up with a segment with Retribution and the Hurt Business, right?
Yeah, well, the first thing they did was they had the Fiend come out,
Mm-hmm.
and him and Alexa Bliss, who's now with him, going off the SmackDown thing they were dealing with. They're following up that storyline and continuing it on Raw, which I don't mind that part of it a little bit. I love the Hurt Business coming out after the whole Retribution came out and the Fiend disappeared. I love how they're writing that group.
Yeah. And hold on one second. I just want to tell the people that this is episode 2 of our podcast, Against the Ropes. That title was partially created by Resident of Collinwood. He's a brilliant writer and a brilliant YouTuber. Great title, sir. Great title.
You thought of it too, so
Hmm. But anyway, yeah, this is the second episode, and we're here to review Monday Night Raw. Please continue. What were you saying?
I really like what they did with the Hurt Business. They had him come out, they had him get into a bit of a Donnybrook before a match broke out. You have the body language that the Hurt Business give off, even before they throw a punch, is really good. I love their chemistry with each other. I love the way that group is written. I think they're literally the best thing on Raw.
Yeah. Um, Here's my thing about the Hurt Business versus Retribution. I feel that they're damaging Retribution's credibility because if Retribution is supposed to be some threat, you have to make them look dangerous, and they're not doing that. Like they keep beating them up, and it's just making them look silly. So I don't know, man. I don't like it. Not my
I,
thing.
I agree with you here too, and here's why. On Raw, for those who didn't watch, they had Retribution lose to the Hurt Business clean, and that hurts them too. It's not so much them losing to the Hurt Business because the Hurt Business is a great group. It's you've built Retribution up as this group that is really hard ass and unstoppable. Well, when you have them lose, it's hard to believe that you've lost that believability.
I agree, and that's something that we've talked about when we've done videos about horror movies, in particular Halloween. Shout out to the Halloween franchise and the Halloween fans, by the way. Since WWE always gives Halloween a shout out anyway. But anyway, you made a great point when you said that Jamie Lee Curtis did the right thing when she put Michael Myers over in Resurrection because it makes him look credible. So that's sort of what they have to do here on Raw and on any wrestling promotion. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I agree. And that's the thing with characters too. You have to put one character has to put the other one over. That's the whole philosophy of wrestling. And that's the same philosophy we use in movies. It's like, well, here's this character. Well, they interact with this villain if they're a hero, or if they survive the villain once, well, then they can't turn around and survive the villain again because the villain looks weak.
I agree. I'm trying to remember what else happened on Raw. I know that Lana, she got attacked again, and I'm like, how long is this gonna go on with her getting slammed through the table? Um, I think they said that this is the fifth time in a row that this has happened, and it's making me wonder: is this intentional? Because Rusev went to AEW. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think they are burying her to send him a message, and that's all it is. It's awful. And here's the thing: she won a battle royal, a brand battle royal, to get a title shot at Asuka, and they had her not only lose clean, they put her through a table again afterwards. And I'm thinking, man, you want to talk about one of the most pointless things you could do with a character? That was it.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's what's going on here. I see that you have written in your notes that you wanted to talk about AJ having a bodyguard. Um, I really don't see why he needs this guy from Raw Underground. I don't see why he needs it. AJ is already, he's AJ Styles. He's a badass. He's already cool. So why does he need this bodyguard? I don't understand why he needs him. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think he needs him. I agree with you there. But what I hope to see with this is, okay, I love how they didn't have him talk. I like that part of it because less is more, right?
Yeah,
Now, next week, when AJ's having a match and maybe AJ has the referee distracted, have this guy literally lay out the competition and throw him back in the ring. AJ gets the win. Don't have a announcer try to interview him and have this big dude just stare down the announcer like, if you give him the look like, if you don't get out of my way, I will hurt you. And the
yeah.
announcer just steps aside. And what I want to see for the following week after that is when they ask him, well, why are you with AJ Styles? Then have him talk and say, because I'm in it for the money.
I like that. I agree. And by the way, when they did the whole thing with Hurt Business attacking, who was it, Titus O'Neil, because he wanted to join, I agree with you when you said that looked really cool because they're saying, you don't come to us, you don't tell us when to do it, we come to you. I agree with you. That looked really cool. Um, they had the whole thing with Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. I think Drew cut a very boring promo. I didn't like it. It went on too long. He needs promo skills. He needs mic work skills, and I don't know. I just didn't like it. You also had your New Day. Um, that segment. I thought it was all right. I guess without Big E being there. What do you think about New Day?
I like the pre-segment. I didn't like the fact that they not only beat Sheamus clean, they didn't have Sheamus get them back later on. There's no heat there.
Yeah, I agree. The women's division, I didn't see a lot there. Maybe they just didn't show it in the version that I watched, but I don't see a lot going on with that. Um, it's just not a lot there where that's concerned, and I don't know. I was bored with it. There are some parts of Raw that I did like. I liked the Retribution segment at the beginning. I liked the thing with the Hurt Business, but this thing with Keith Lee and who was it? Keith Lee versus Braun Strowman.
Yep.
Really, really kicking each other in the balls. You're like, really?
Here's the thing: when you put two big guys together, coming off of their first match that they had, that they laid each other out. Okay, either A, repeat that segment, or B, have it spew into the back and have them get into a literal brawl where they're not just trying to hurt each other. Anybody who gets in their way, they're knocking them the hell out instead
Yeah,
of like dirty low blow. Because now, if to me, the only saving grace to that is, okay, their next segment better not be a match. They better be brawling in the back. Full
Yeah,
on.
I agree. Um, Going back to Randy versus Drew, this thing. I mean, this is really getting old. With Randy being the legend killer, I guess I'm glad that they brought it back, but I think my problem is it feels boxed in. Like even though they're in an actual stadium, because the Amway Center is a stadium, but it just feels boxed in. It feels like we're still at the Performance Center, well, now known as the Capital Wrestling Center or the Wrestling Capital Center, whatever it's called. But it feels like we're still there.
Yeah, I think the one thing they need to do is start doing more outside segments. Get away. Look, you can still have your event in that area, in the arena, but do more outdoor segments.
Yeah,
To me,
and
sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want to say, if they can get everyone tested, get those people tested that you're going to use in the segment, and do it outside.
Right, I agree. I agree.
And then you say you have here. Where are they taking the women's division? I don't know because Becky Lynch is gone, Charlotte is gone, and there's one more missing. I just can't remember who. Oh, Ronda Rousey. And then that's what I meant to talk to you about. They say, oh, there's a rumor going around. Oh, Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch again. Really? We just had that.
If they honestly are going to do that, they better not, because right now they left no build to a title shot on Raw. They left very. I didn't love the heat that the women gave during their segment. I do wish they would have done more individually and not so much as a tag team. They did a tag team 4-way match, which I hated because you're taking one title, the woman's title that they have with Asuka, and you're taking away from that to to just do an impromptu tag match, and it made no sense to me to do that. Do one segment at a time, or just do the segments separate.
I agree. I did like the thing with Elias. That was cool. Like when he was singing that song called Amen or whatever it's called. I like that. That was cool. Very cool song. The Rock already did that though. Now all of a sudden everybody's a singer. I mean, so that's getting a little old. You know?
To, in my opinion, that song, like the beginning lyrics of it, it felt like a shot at the writers.
Hmm. That's
Where
interesting. What makes you think that?
he was saying, "You've tried to bury me." I'm
Oh,
thinking, I'm thinking, if that almost sounds like it's a dig at the creative.
it could be. Overall, the part that I did see, because as you guys know, I unsubscribed from cable television last year. So I watch it on Hulu, and they only give you the highlighted parts. The part of Raw that I saw, I liked. It was okay. Could it be better? Of course. I thought it was cool with Retribution and all that, and we don't need to keep rehashing it. I'm not going to recap the matches or anything. The women's division is basically gone. And even with Becky Lynch, here's the thing. I'm just going to say this before we wrap this up, because there really isn't much more to say on this. Um, Becky Lynch, when she returns, if she returns, Becky Lynch is basically doing the same thing that John Cena did. John Cena started out as a clean baby face, and then he went edgy, and that's what got him over. And then once he got over, he turned back into a clean, drinking your milk, taking your vitamins baby face. And now they're basically doing the same thing with Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch started out as a clean baby face. She does a couple of edgy things. You know, she starts calling people bitch. She gets over, and now she's back to the clean baby face, just like Cena. What are your thoughts on that?
I just think that's the creative. That's the creative. Go, okay, we have her over, and then they pull the plug, and they just leave her hanging. That's what that is to me. I don't think that's Becky Lynch. It's the same equivalent that we talked about with Roman Reigns in our last video. The creative is affecting a lot of the characters not getting over, and that's the overall problem with the product.
I agree that, and it could be that because I think it has to be creative. Because how can it happen twice? Like,
Yep.
what are the odds that the very same thing would happen twice? It happened to John Cena. He was a clean-cut babyface, kind of boring. So then he starts doing the rap thing. He starts that gets him over. Boom. He's back to being clean-cut babyface again. Becky Lynch, clean cut. Well, not clean cut because she doesn't have a, she doesn't have guy's hair, but you know what I mean. She's a clean baby face. She gets over. She's clean first, then she turns heel like Cena. She, like I said, she calls Charlotte a bitch a bunch of times. Gets over. She does a bunch of edgy stuff. They turn her into the female Stone Cold. And she even stunned Stone Cold. And it's like, really? And then once she does that, they just take all that away. So here's what I think. And you can comment on this if you want. I think they use the edge to get the people over. And then once they get them over, like you said, they just pull the plug on it. And it sounds like I'm basically reiterating what you said. But I think that's what they're doing here.
Yeah, I agree. I wish, if it were me, if we were there writing this, what I'd love to do for Becky Lynch, she's pregnant. Okay, fine. You can't do nothing physically with her, but you can have a segment with her. We've been talking about Seth Rollins even. Have Becky Lynch go to SmackDown. And again, because the draft, I hate it, but you got to sort of use it because they use it now and they've been using it. So have Seth Rollins go to Becky Lynch and rub her stomach and go, you have the Messiah's child in you. And she's just like looking at him like, what's wrong with you? Like,
You know what? That's actually a good idea. I like that. That's funny. Continuing with the whole cult thing.
Yeah.
And if he didn't go with this Messiah gimmick, what I would have done is I would have had her turn on him. Maybe he's fighting, and then maybe she low blows him. And maybe she has a new kayfabe boyfriend. And I know you're going to say, well, Lana already did that. But I think Becky Lynch would have done it better than Lana. I think it would have been very interesting. It's just an idea. But they're basically throwing a bunch of things against the wall to see what sticks. And that's what I think is going on here. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, I love that idea.
Yeah. I think they should do that, and thank you. I appreciate that. But instead of having this Messiah thing, what they could have done is he could have been a baby face, and she says, that's good, you're winning, and they should have kept the edgy heel Becky Lynch. And that's the thing, when she turned heel, it just got her over all over again as a baby face. So they turned her face, and I don't want to get off topic. He could have been in the ring fighting, and Becky Lynch just low blows him and turns on him, and it shows that she's truly a heel. She is truly a heel in every sense of the word. That she has even turned on her husband. That would have been awesome.
I like that. That's very good.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. But I think that's what they should have done. But they let her turn face again. So, anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed our discussion on Raw. We will be back to talk about the invasion angle. When is a good time for you, resident of Collinwood?
I know you're busy Friday, so why don't we try to shoot for maybe Thursday night if you can make it?
Yeah, I should be available Thursday night. We'll be back Thursday night to talk about the invasion angle, and I want to thank you guys for listening to episode 2 of Against the Ropes. Subscribe to Resident of Collinwood, and thank you guys for listening. Resident of Collinwood, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed doing this with you.
Staying here. I'll talk to you later.